Hi, Nanny Cola here. If you want to know how to make these little ornament gnomes with a little jingle bell, stay tuned and I'll show you what worked and what yarn didn't work so well. So I'm sure you've seen those gnomes that are all over YouTube where they are little ornaments for the tree. And of course, your tree can be anything from Christmas, 4th of July, Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Halloween, obviously, you can use your tree for. So, so far I made these two, and what I'm doing is I'm experimenting with different yarns that I have, because you can use up your ends of some of the yarn or yarns you don't care much for. So this one I made with my great-granddaughter yesterday, and she made one too. This one I just did with red and a jingle bell and just yarn at the bottom. So this is the flat one like they did on, Cheryl did on the Sewing Room channel. And I don't remember who did one kind of like this, but I was experimenting with yarn, and what she had was a large pom-pom at the bottom, and then she had done the regular hat like this at the top, and then she did a pom-pom at the bottom. Well, I used some yarn that I had got that my daughter picked up. She works at Walmart, and she had found this on clearance, and I really didn't care for it. I couldn't understand why they took the yarn and put the fuzzy and made it on a dark. So I'm not sure what that's all about. It didn't look pretty no matter what I did, whether I crocheted with it or put it on here. So I'm not crazy about this one, but it's all right. And I'm just making these gnomes. I'll probably sell them, you know, just really inexpensively at the Candy Cane Lane when my granddaughter has this at her school, so that the kids can pick them up, you know, for like $1 or something. So that's basically what I'm making them, because kids like to, you know, have little things that they can buy 50 cents, $1, something like that. So anyways, this was the Lion brand, I believe it was Gopher Fox. I love the thick and chunky, but I like that for using around the gnomes, around the hats and stuff like that. So that's a totally different thing. Okay, and then I made this hat, and I used a size 6 yarn for this. I do not know what it is. It was just something that I had sitting in there. And what I'm going to use, and I do like this one, and then I also had sent for some Christmas variegated yarn, and I do like these hats. This is what my great-granddaughter used yesterday, and then the beard, of course, still has to be made. So this is Lion brand blanket yarn. Some of it's baby blanket. This I don't think is the baby blanket. I got this to use for something, probably a dog blanket that matched the fur, because I do the crocheted edges on the fleece, on the fleece. And so I am going to go ahead and try this and see how this is, and then I will show you how to do the beards on this. It's pretty simple. First of all, what you will need, let me let you get what you need. You will need either a toilet paper roll, and the ones that we made yesterday, I made with the toilet paper roll, and some of it caved in a little bit when I was putting it on there. So I have a lot of, I used to do tutu dresses, so I have a lot of tulle rolls. So I kind of chopped those up today and used that. And now this is a toilet paper roll, and as you can see, it's really flimsy. And this is the tulle roll, and it's very heavy. So this one is a tulle roll, and this one is a tulle roll, and this one I used a tulle roll for, and it worked a lot better. Even if it was uneven, it still comes out. So it still comes out fine, so it's not that big a deal. So you will need those, a rubber band to tie this top together, and then some either jute string or some other strong type of thing. I do put little jingle bells on them, as you can see. And you will need noses. For this one, I used a bigger nose. This is actually acorns, and I did try it on a little bit to see, it would make a big nose on one of these littler ones, a big old nose. But if you're using, you know, the bigger yarn like this, it might work, and you could cover it, you know, the sides and stuff up underneath it there. But this was an acorn I found at Dollar Tree, and these are half beads, which I got on Amazon, and I will link those in the description box. So, in the jingle bells you can pick up anywhere at this time of the year. And then for the beards you will need, sorry, allergies, had to sneeze. So you can use white, and that's what I'm going to use with this because there's white in it. And I have an off-white, and I thought that would look prettier with this. This will just be kind of a winter gnome rather than specifically Christmas. And then I will probably use this with that too. Like I said, I didn't care as much for this. I did like the way she did it, but with the pom-pom, this was a large pom-pom, and those were pretty cute too. But I actually think I like this better. I think I like this, and then I just trimmed the beard like that. So, okay, now this is one of those crafter squares that they have at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to get some more of these because they're really good for this too. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your yarn. Now on this bigger yarn, I wrapped it around 33 times. On your regular size yarn, you want to wrap it, and I'm going to do a red and green on the other one, so I'm going to variegate it. So I would want 25 of each. You want 50. If you're using one color like this, you want to wrap it around 50 times. Now this board is 6.5 inches total because it's 6 inches here and then a half inch on each side I measured. So it's 7 inches total, so if you can see that. So there it is, 7 inches exactly. So if you get one of these at the Dollar Tree, that's going to be great for, you know, making pom-poms and stuff too, because that would be pretty big pom-poms. If you don't have one of these, you can just cut out a 6-inch square of heavier cardboard. So that's what that is. So what you want to do is you just want to take it, and like I think I did 33 on this one, and that was, like I said, the size 6. So do that, and I will get back. So I've wrapped this around 33 times, and now what you want to do is on these, you're going to cut it. So you're just going to take your scissors and you're just going to cut it right here. That's not the best scissors, that's more for my paper. And this blanket yarn does tend to have a few things, so I would not do it like over your lap because it does tend to shed a little bit. So I am going to use the heavier duty one on this one. And I did cut that tool. They are 1 inch. These are 1 inch is what I cut these at, the tool things, and I used a serrated knife. So this edge here is smoother. So like I said, even if it's uneven, it doesn't really matter. Get these out of the way. Okay. So what you're doing is you're doing the same thing as if you've ever done a tutu. You're doing the same thing. You're just taking it and you're making a loop and you're just bringing it through. And I find that if you just set it so the knot kind of goes in a little bit, that it makes it a little easier when you turn it. So just go through the whole thing until you have it all covered up. And try to keep the ends as even as possible so you don't have all kinds of short pieces. So see how that did that? So just pull it, and then until it's more even, and then just start throwing those together. I hope I'm staying in frame here. These colors are definitely going to be more fall colors, which I love the fall colors too. Earthy, they always look so nice and earthy. So just do that and do that all the way around. So as you're getting towards the end, start pushing these because you want it to be fairly tight in here so that you have a lot here, because they didn't do it on the other ones. They did stuff the cardboard part, but I didn't really notice them stuffing the part of the hat, this part of the hat. And I think it looks better stuffed. On this one, I didn't do it as much, and so it's a little bit softer. So just keep pushing back until you get that on there nice and tight. Oops, I'm doing that one backwards. Not paying attention to what I'm doing here. So just keep pushing them back. It might not quite take the 33, even though these are both size 6 yarns. They may just still be a little bit different. Like this could be puffier, and this one is probably a little bit smoother. This is smooth, but a very smooth yarn, but it's also very bulky. This one was bulky, but not as bulky as this yarn is. And this is less bulky than some of the others that I have in there. So see, there's still a little bit of room to put a couple more in. So just shove those back. And then if you don't want to put the stuffing up there, that's fine too. And I think I forgot to tell you that you do need just little pieces of fiber fill. So just go ahead and finish that up. I think that's good. And then just kind of shove where the knots are towards the underneath. But see, now you have a nice smooth bottom there, or top. That's actually going to be your top. So what you want to do now, and with the thicker yarn like this, it's a little bit harder. So take small amounts at a time, you know, maybe half, third, maybe in thirds, and just push it through. It does take a little bit more than if you were using the regular yarn like this. I was trying to find something that maybe was that size that would push it all through at once, but I couldn't find anything that I have around here, so maybe one of my rolling pins for fondant, that might work. So just keep shoving that in until you get it all to the other side, until you get it all up here, and then just kind of pull it out as you're going along. And like I said, this blanket yarn really does like to shed a lot, so keep a garbage can near, or a trash can. The other thing I do is I have a little coffee can over there that I use for my threads on my sewing machine. So I'm actually going to get that when we start cutting the pom-pom, this part, the top, so that I can show you. I usually just cut it over the trash can, but the trash can's on the floor, so you won't be able to see it if I do that. So I'm just going to take and just push all that through. And make sure that you have it all through, and then just pull on them all. Just continue to pull until you get them all through. Just run your fingers through it. Like I said, this one is a little bit harder, and I would stick, especially if you're doing this with kids, you know, younger girls or teens, I would stick with the regular yarn. I do see a little couple here that can be pulled up a little bit. So if you see something like that, just go in and just pull it up a little bit. I think I've got most of it up there. Okay, I think I got it all pretty well through. So the next step is we're going to, you can, if you want to have some rubber bands, if you have some rubber bands around, you can start with doing a rubber band, and before you tie it, so that you can see where you want the hat. So you're going to want to double that. And then I think I want the hat a little bit higher, so just kind of take the rubber band up a little bit. And just adjust the rubber band where you want it. I got that a little bit lower than I wanted it. There we go. So just get a hold of the rubber band, and that way you can just kind of decide where how big you want the hat, how tall you want it. Okay, and then from there I'm just going to take a little bit of stuffing and put it in there, and I hope this works this time because I had trouble the last time getting this through, but just enough to put around the hat. I'll show you in a minute what I had trouble with. So it looks like I want it about there, and so I put a little bit of stuffing up there to kind of hold it, and then take a piece of your yarn, or you can use the jute, and wrap it around, tie it once, and you want to tie that fairly tight, a lot tighter than what the rubber band is, and then go around to the back or the front or whatever part. It's not going to matter in the end. And tie that nice and tight, and then one more, go back around again. And then tie that in a knot. And then just pull those up. So that you have it so it looks pretty smooth. With this variegated color, it's a little bit easier to see what you're pulling because of the variegated colors. You can see which ones are sticking out. So it might be this one here. So just pull those tight. And that may take a few minutes to pull all that tight. So just stuff that stuffing up there. Just in this part right now. And then next we're going to trim this. So I brought my little coffee can over here. Make sure you have a nice sharp scissors. And just start making your pom-pom. So when you make a pom-pom, you want the bottom part a little bit shorter than what the top is. The other yarn was much easier to work with, so this blanket yarn is not as easy as this yarn was to work with. Both size 6, but this is just not that easy to work with. Much better for edging on the fleece. So just kind of pull up on it, see where you're at, shake it, and then just continue to trim it until it looks like it's a little pom-pom. Kind of going on an angle. Kind of hard to cut over the, but I have a fan blowing because like I said, I live in a desert, so it's still pretty warm. Almost 100 yesterday. Gone back up, and hopefully we'll come back down. My air conditioner's still coming on, even though I have it on 77. a little random one here with the yarn. I'm not sure what it wants to do. But there's that. Then you want to take a longer piece of jute and some kind of needle. I have these plastic needles that you can get at Walmart or anywhere, or any kind of a wide-eye needle. And just thread the needle and go through the stuffing inside and come up through the middle. And then pull the short side through. Pull that up. Come back down. Try to hold on to that stuffing in there so it doesn't, the needle doesn't throw it out. And come back down. And then see which side is the side that's not making a loop. You want a loop is what you're after on the top. Get rid of your needle and pull your up as far as you want it. However you want your little loop to be, and then hold on to it. That's probably good. And then just tie the end off inside. It's still, like I said, it's much easier with just regular size 4 yarn. And then just cut that off. And then you have a little place to hang it. If you want, you could have put your jingle bell when you wrapped when you wrapped your pom-pom. And then just kind of there, so that's your front. And then you want a little bit more of this in there. Not too much, because you're going to, if you're making this kind, you're going to actually put it in the top. And they were saying like 100, that you needed to wrap it around 100, and there was nowhere near that I needed to wrap it around 100 times. I wrapped it around 100 times, and I had this great big beard that didn't make sense. So this one I'm going to use the off-white. So again, let's find our end. And I'm going to wrap it around until I think it looks good. So I will let you know how many times I wrapped it around. So do the same thing, just wrap it around. Okay, I wrapped it around 50 times. Now this is where the board comes in handy, or cardboard. You can use your, I can't find it right now, but your, oh, here it is, the quilting squares, but it's a little bit harder to get off with that. This is nice because it bends, and you can just bend it and get it off. And then you got it off. Okay, now we just want to take another little piece of the yarn. And we want to just go up towards the top. We're not going to do the middle. That would be for the pom-poms, and then you would probably wrap it a lot more. So we want just enough to be able to stick inside that hole. And as you can see, especially with this puffy, there's not going to be a lot of hole in there. So we don't need to stick it all the way up in there, but somewhat we want to stick it up in there. So we don't want to get it too big. So take it one side, and then the other side, and tie it each time, and then back. And then just tie it off. I always do everything way too long, and that's fine. And you could just take that down because we're going to cut this in a little bit, so just cut it there, and you can just work that right into the beard. So now let's see if we can kind of stick that inside there. So we just want to stick that inside. Might have even been able to go up a little bit farther on this tie. So just make sure it fits in there before you glue it in. So something like this. So then just take your glue gun and throw some glue inside, a little bit around the edges. And put on my just start sticking it up in there. You want to get it down to that line where you tied. Here's my stick. I'm going to grab my stick too, so you might have your chopstick handy. That in there good. There, that's good. That looks good. And then just let that dry for a sec. Yeah, I like that. It's going to be cute. Okay, then we want to take and we want to, I don't know where I have thread here somewhere, and we want to cut these open. Look, make sure you got them all open. And once you get that, then you can trim the beard to where you how long you want it. So just hold it all together and do it straight. Now you can leave it like that if you want. I'm going to put the little nose on, and I think on that one is cute. Here's the acorn, and there's something on it on that side. I think without covering up the sides, because there is these weird sides, I don't think I want to use that big of a one. So I'm just going to use the little one. So find your best side for the front. And then just take your drop of glue. I'm just, sorry, my gun's all got glue hanging off of it as usual. Okay, just put a little bit on the front and a little bit right there. less likely to burn yourself if you put it on the yarn. There. And then if you want, like I said, on this one's much smaller. I did a little V, and that was kind of cute. Or you can just leave it like this. I think I'm just going to leave this one like this. And then the only thing that you have left that you would want to do is get your jingle bell. Yeah, I think I'll use gold on this one. I have some gold and some silver. Hopefully this is long enough. And then there's a little, on the jingle bell, there's a little outer thing that you can tie on with. Hopefully this is long enough. And then just tie your jingle bell onto the gnome around the hat there on the top. And there you have it. There he is. Front, I couldn't find the front there. The nose almost blends in. I might want to do a little bit of blush on the nose. Got another loop here that didn't get cut. So there is the little gnome. Little jingle bell. That one has a better jingle bell than this one. Some of them, the little tiny ones, didn't have any jingle at all. But there you go. So if you like seeing these kind of videos, then please subscribe, give me a like, share with your friends, and keep yourself safe. Bye now.